evening, and I'm sure some may have something to say before we get into the nuts and bolts of what's going to happen with the committee. So we're going to open up the floor in a few minutes, and like I said, we've got a good crowd here, lots of good number of concerns, I'm sure, one way or the other. When you get ready to speak, I think you can say whatever you need to say in under 2 minutes. And we want to limit it to that. And then the committee's going to get on into the business of what the committee's been appointed to do. So with that being said, podium is open for public comment. And we'll try to accommodate everyone, but please keep it to 2 minutes. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Judge. My name is Joe Knopfler, and for the record, sir, how is the first meeting of this committee posted and advertised?
It's advertised in newspaper, radio, sir.
The first meeting was advertised in newspaper?
Radio.
And the radio?
That's all we're required to do.
It was not posted elsewhere?
No.
Okay, thank you, sir. What is the commission's
We have a
specific...
1-week paper, there probably was.
Yes, sir, I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. Just asking, because, what is the commission's specific mandate?
Make a recommendation to the court how to handle this.
Thanks, sir.
Next.
Thank you. My name is Bonnie Krebs. My question is exactly what changes does Keystone seek in the county's poultry production ordinance?
As of now, I may call on Don here in just a moment. They're requesting the number of houses be increased from 2 to 4, and the number of birds from 23,000 to 25,000 per house, with no more than a maximum of 100,000 per farm. Correct? At this time, we'll let you explain that later. That was not discussed at the last meeting, so that's what we have at this point.
Thank you.
Next, Mr. Ernst.
These are 2 boxes of information we added 14 years ago. It's a lot about the water, it's a lot about people's status, it's a lot about how many more jobs to be provided for the farmers or for people at the broiler house. It seemed to find that there weren't any jobs going to be added to the farmers, but as the broiler house is produced and large, then we will have more jobs there. Thanks. Oh, and I'm going to try and make copies.
Okay.
But not right now.
Not right now, okay. You got it when needed. Next. Ms. Joe,
I'm Joe Murley. May I stand here?
if you like, that's fine.
It's going to be hard for me to get out. I'm Joe Murley, and I'm here because I love this county. I was born here, and it is one of the most beautiful, regal, serene places in the world. And I want to be a part of anything that's happening in the county. I'm also a landowner. And I want to know if county tax revenues would increase because of higher property values for broiler house farms, or decrease because of lower property values for those homes downwind of broiler house farms.
Well, as far as tax revenue, I would think that each house would probably generate somewhere around $1,500 per house. To answer the question, as far as value of adjoining property, recently there was a farm in Dare County that sold that was directly across the road from 8 houses, sold for $3,700 an acre. So,
What kind of land is that?
yes, it,
What kind of land
I
did it
guess
sell?
the correct answer to
Was that a
would be
residence
on
across the
purpose.
road or a farm across the road?
Was it a farm that sold for 3,700?
Yes, the farm sold $3,700
Not a
an
residence.
acre. Huh?
Pardon me, I'm out of turn, I'm sorry. Not a residence.
A residence and a farm.
I'm not clear on that. Joe Bryant then sold it.
There's land, know it was affected by the odor.
Again, depends on the purpose of what the intended buyer is for.
Okay, thank you.
So that's a wide open question. Pause, no. Yes, ma'am.
May I stand here also? Okay. This is really for the county attorney, I guess. If our ordinance is changed, does the county attorney have any confidence that the replacement ordinance will be upheld by the courts if it's challenged, which I suspect it will be?
That's an open-ended question. You never know once you go to court on anything, who's going to win or who's going to lose. You know, you have kind of a general idea of what your chances are, but you never know. You know, and this was challenged 14 or 15 years ago, and of course it went all the way to the Supreme Court and we won. But that's not saying that it was changed, that it was challenged. You know, we will win or we will lose. I don't know.
You read this one. You read this one. Go ahead, so it's finished. Just read number 6.
Mr. Huff.
Okay, that's fine.
Joe's question, you were talking about the farm up there. The farm itself, probably so many acres. I mean, probably he may have idea of going ahead and farming on that, maybe even put chicken houses on it. What about us? Well, we've got an acre that we live on. I mean, don't you like to value it, Will Rock?
I'm not sure. I can't directly.
And another thing too, I talked to quite a few of y'all, and I'm just like you. I think that if we got property, we should be able to build what we want to own the property. But in another sense, I don't think it'd be right for the growers to poison the air that we have to breathe on our property. I mean, okay, go ahead and build it, but what can we do about the poisons coming from the fluorides? I mean, I'm like most of you, I like to build what I want to on mine too, but there's a loophole there, you can't. And there's also a loophole on a lot of farmers, I mean, from years back, you was allowed so much, that tells us what we can do with the property, in the sense of building chickens. We allowed so much crops, sometimes I've been making up work for the bills.
Thank you. In reference to air quality, I mean, all I know, I'm sure I know air, environmental protection agency does have a division for air quality. So I'm not sure exactly what their guidelines are, but I'm sure there are laws in place in regards to air quality.
Isn't that the function of your committee right now?
That's something that we can look into. Or what their laws. Okay. And that office is in both, by the way. Division of Air Quality. Yes, sir.
My name is Holly Harris. Mr. Bell, if the ordinance is changed and it's overturned by the courts, how many barns does the commission think would be cited in our county when we have neither setbacks or barn limits?
How many what?
Barns you think will be cited in the county when we don't have setbacks or barn limits?
Decided.
Yeah, I mean,
If this
Located.
there's
ordinance,
no limit to
if this ordinance is.
Yeah. If the ordinance is overturned, is there any limit to the amount of houses that can be put in the county?
We've not got to that. I mean,
Sir?
we've not got.
I know we need to think ahead of time. If we're going to overturn this ordinance, that's a valid question, is it not?
Right now.
If we overturn that ordinance,
Number of houses that you all want, is of course, you're basically expecting, what, you got 18 interested growers at this time?
I'll whittle that down, probably about 15, so people I talk to, I think that's my job, pretty slow, once we get into it, it's pretty difficult, when I get through it, people kind of leave stuff out, so,
But the total number of houses that Keystone was wanting at this time was now
it's
being.
130, that's in our whole
All
house,
surrounding counties.
that's in our whole complex, we're looking at 130, bring all the lot meetings,
In, 6 or 7 county regions.
probably 13.
I appeal to the court, I appeal to the commission to consider 5 years and 10 years down the road when there are no regulations because our ordinance is overthrown. Our ordinance survived the first review on a 2-to-1 vote. I ask you to read the ruling of that vote. It was a hair thread that maintained that ordinance. Without that ordinance, there would be undoubtedly barns all over the county. Now, I don't doubt Keystone. I don't doubt their credibility. 5 years when they enlarged that plant in Clinton County, 10 years when they enlarge, when they need more processing capacity, they will turn to this county, and without an ordinance in place, without setbacks, without the ordinance we currently have, we will be unprotected. Some people will be living 20 yards from new broiler developments. It's inescapable. If we maintain this ordinance, we're safe. If we change the ordinance, we have no guarantee whatsoever. Grill the county attorney about the likelihood, a 2-to-1 decision 14 years ago, and this is not the same regulatory climate as it was 14 years ago. We're not just talking about the next month, sir. We're not talking about, thank you.
No, sir, we're not. More comments?
I just have a question about,
State your name, please.
is there gonna be any kind of limitations or control over?
What's your name, please?
Oh, I'm sorry, Paul Boxman.
Go ahead.
I wanna go for a chicken farm, and I met all the criteria. Any road at all would work? Or are they gonna look into the condition of the road, the size of the road, the safety of the road? Salt Lick Bend, for example. A lot of curves, a lot of drop-offs, a lot of blind spots. Has that been considered? And if so, the upkeep of the road, I mean, obviously, you've got much more truck traffic with wear and tear on roads like that.
Those are all things to be considered by this committee.
Okay. And the other thing, when will the decision be made? When will the vote be made?
However long it takes,
Pardon me?
however long it takes. I mean, our goal right now is to have a recommendation from this committee by next Tuesday.
Okay.
To the court.
Thank you.
If they need longer, I mean, so be it. Next.
My name is Jeff Shapiro, and my question is, approximately how many subsidiary jobs, bird catchers, truck drivers, can be guaranteed to Cumberland County residents?
That's something we'll hear more from Keystone here shortly, but maybe we'll answer that question.
Good afternoon, my name is Erin Shapiro. Aside from the owner-operators, how many on-farm jobs will be created?
Okay, your own question?
That's one more. Do any of the commission members wish to become contract growers?
Consider. Not this time. Okay, next.
Anybody want
Anyone
to?
else wish to make comments this time? Mr. Rude? You stand where you are if you like. Stand where you are if you like.
Sure.
Make sure you speak loud enough for everybody to hear.
Okay, I guess I'm asking a question in relation to the regulation of litter dispersal. Given that about 140 tons is generated per barn per year, does the committee know and can they tell the public what regulations govern safe dispersal and sort of how they're monitored and enforced? Ultimately, I'm wondering if there's anything that the public can observe, kind of like how the restaurants around here have a score for like when they were inspected. You know, there are laws, but there are sort of where the reality meets those laws, and various restaurants perform it, various ways. So how can we observe their scores? Basically, is what I'm asking.
I'll direct that question to Mr. Jonathan Atkins here shortly. There
wondering if people can
But there
observe.
are federal and state guidelines on that outside of this full-time thing.
Okay.
Anyone else? Young lady in the back.
Thank you. My name is Carrie Ernst, and I would like to know approximately how much tourism revenue will be lost to the county and citizens of the county if we can no longer offer a remarkably clean environment.
Okay. We have a representative for tourism on this board. I think there's a real clear way to answer that. I mean, it may or may not. Clinton County, that allows growers, tourism has a fair amount of, Clinton County has a fair amount of tourism as well as growers.
Can you tell me how much revenue the tourism industry generates right now?
Approximately $10 million a year. Roughly 10 million. It fluctuates 8 to 11 million. It's probably been down the last couple of years because of the economy in general. But historically, I would say $10 million a year would be a pretty steady number for Cumberland County.
John, can I ask one more question?
We're again, as far as in relation to farmers, tobacco used to generate about $10 million for Cumberland County growers, which is lost, and has been lost for some time for Cumberland County farmers. So, out of respect for farmers, we've got farmers that definitely just want to farm and looking for other revenue streams. I think this is why we're here, giving fair consideration. Ms. Brookie.
How many houses does Clinton County have at this time?
Donald, can you answer that for us?
66. With 2 more under construction currently right now, so that'll be 68 in, 3 months. And that's not our biggest county.
You have a handout with you that shows what the revenue for Clinton County is as well. You have that information? Okay, we'll get to that later. Any other questions? Mr. Consett?
Mr. Consett, has the committee made an effort to survey people who actually do live next door to existing chicken houses? The questions we're hearing now, it's almost like people are asking for educated guesses. What's going to happen to the water? What's going to happen to the air? What's going to happen to property values? Well, we've got an experience factor here. We've already got chicken houses here. We should find out what is happening. What are these people experiencing? Is it a problem or is it a problem?
I've heard some of what, ones that I've talked to.
Are we talking to real estate people to find out what's happening to property values instead of guessing?
Give me a chance to there too.
I got a chorus on the flip.
No, I mean, I'm a real estate agent. I see it both ways. I've got some agents, there are some agents in the county that are dead set against it. My sister-in-law being one of them. And then I have others that say they don't see anything wrong.
My point is, we've got an experience out here.
Next.
My name's Cody Bachschmidt.
Say that again, please.
Cody Bachschmidt. My question is there any plans or any possibility of there being a committee formed to go a little bit further than the EPA as far as on an individual basis, evaluating the different farms, whether they can sustain it, whether they be, serious impact on their neighbors, to go past what the EPA does. Sometimes a small town like Kentucky, where in Kentucky might kind of fall through the cracks as far as the federal program goes.
Well, just to properly answer you on that, I think Keystone has a pretty stringent review policy. She said, I know they've got 18 interested growers, and already reviewed that down to 15, probably even all over in qualifying. But they don't want any trouble with the EPA any more than anybody else.
Yeah, well, I mean, not so much just EPA standard. The EPA standard, let's face it, as far as quality of life goes, may not always be good enough for somebody. I mean, you know, I moved up here from the Virgin Islands, which is considered America's paradise and all that, and quite frankly, it's got nothing on, you know, Cumberland County. It's a beautiful place, and I'd hate to see that change. So, I mean, to me, just trusting the federal guidelines may not be good enough, you know, that's my opinion.
Some might think it's big too.
Yeah.
Next.
John, can I ask another question?
Yeah, quickly, please.
A lot of times in counties and cities and such, they bring in a new factory and it looks real good, and they come in with new jobs and all this stuff, and the politicians take all the credit for this. However, the companies are granted huge tax breaks. So we lose a lot of tax revenue that we should be getting out of the company. And that's something I think we shouldn't do or not apply to. We really need to get that tax money from K's and for the county. Does that make sense?
Your employees pay occupation tax, unfortunately, but the growers, the houses do have value, and they will generate real estate property taxes. The farm people will be generating revenue, so we should be paying occupation tax on the revenue he generates.
But you don't think that the company will produce income and taxes and stuff? You think that the homeowner?
The farmer, the growing house, I mean, the facility, I mean, you know, the employees over there pay occupation tax and tax.
Okay, but not income from the company. They don't pay tax.
We have no way to tax them, they're
Okay, I'll research more. Okay, thank you.
Okay, anyone else wish to comment? Mr. Knopf?
Yeah, Judge, thanks again. I've spoken to several members of the committee in the last week, and a question that keeps coming up is a question you addressed a minute ago, and that is, how does a community, or how for that matter does Keystone, deal with a contract grower who isn't, if you will, cutting the mustard, who isn't taking care of business? It's pretty clear that that's sometimes the case. I've spoken with some people who've told me outstanding stories, and I have no reason to doubt them. But this is our community, and if we have no way, and we have not had any way for the last 10 years to deal with the only two facilities in the county which have created problems to their neighbors. Now, okay, some people like it, some people don't like it. But on balance, I think everybody in this community, or I'm sorry, on balance, the majority of the people in this community have found the two current facilities problems. And if Keystone can't direct and address that problem now, I know they're doing the best they can. They don't need trouble either. I know they're trying to find the right people, but it doesn't always work out that way. The point is that the county has no way, we the citizens have no way of stopping a problem except through the current ordinance. The current ordinance prevents people from calling the magistrate up in the middle of the night and saying they're at it again, I can't sleep, I'm choking. We don't need that situation. There's very little economic advantage to this. Really, I've spoken to y'all, and I, like Mr. Huff, sort of think the only real justification for this is that a man has a right to do what he wants on his own land. But on the other hand, as Mr. Huff said, it's just not a question of a man's land. It's a question of how that barn impinges on his life, on his kids going out and playing, on his barbecue. It ain't right. And if Keystone can't change the two facilities they have, and they have not yet demonstrated they adequately can, what faith have we that they'll be able to deal with it in the future? Thank you for your time.
Okay.
That's a question, sir.
They're all fair questions.
Well, how do we answer that question?
It's a good question. Do any of us enjoy paying $5 a pound for hamburger meat? Where chicken prices going? World population has doubled in the last 30 years. Farmers just want to farm. I think that's what we're here to consider. And everybody can't always be playing, somebody's got to work. And, so, I mean, that's what this committee's here to see if it will fit in this county.
I don't really see how that answers the
There's
question.
a lot of people who are interested. I mean, farmers struggle. I mean, regulated to death. I mean, EPA keeps coming up. Where are we going? Are we going to continue, we're going to weed out all the farmers? Where are they going to farm at? It all can't be done organically in a flower box. I'm sorry.
I'm not an organic farmer, sir. I'm not an organic farmer.
At some point, we've got to put some.
I'm not an organic farmer, and I can't solve the world's problems.
And you all may think I'm a little bit biased at this point, and I probably may be. But where do we find a balance? We've all got to live. We've got to eat. You know, farmers for generations have tried their very best to provide. And that's what they want to do. They want to grow, they want to produce, they want to feed the country, they want to feed the world. Period. My ancestors came here for that reason, because land is fertile in these river bottoms, and farmers are pushed and cornered every way they turn. And we complain about smell. We've had dairy farms, yeah, where'd they all go? After squeeze out, yeah, they smell. You know, what's the difference?